thank you very much, everybody, for your support. Obviously, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. And it's such a great cause. So we're raising money for a pod so that people can visit their families in safety at Heathlands. And I believe it's a movable pod. And I look forward to seeing it. So quite exciting, really. And looking forward to showing you the recipes. I think we're going to start soon.
Yeah, I think I've invited everybody in, so I'll keep letting people in as they come. But if you want to start, you can go ahead.
Okay, welcome everybody to today's cookery Pesach session. I'm making lots of different things, starting with a frittata, which is another word for like a quiche without a pastry bottom. And it can be used for Pesach and also for any time during the year. So we're going to start, I'll go through the ingredients. We've got the eggs, we've got all the spices here that I've weighed out earlier. I think we've got turmeric, cumin, and salt and pepper. And in this bowl here, we have the weighed out the matzah meal and baking powder, which I forgot to tell you about. I just managed to get that from the deli this morning, kosher Pesach baking powder. And if you don't want to use, if you're gluten-free, for example, and for Pesach you want to be gluten-free, you could use potato flour, but I'd only use 2.5 ounces of that. That would be quite enough. So either would be fine. And then when it's not Pesach, I use 3 ounces of buckwheat flour and 1 ounce of rice flour, which is quite nice together. So we'll start with, we're going to crack the eggs into bowls. Check they haven't got any blood spots. No blood spots, thank goodness. And just cracking them all up. 6 eggs into the bowl. And then we are going to mix all that around in a larger bowl. So the eggs are going to here. The reason I did it like that was if there was a blood spot, we'd have to throw that away. Then I'm going to mix these eggs up in a nice sized bowl with the whisk here. And then I'm going to add the spices. So I've just added all the spices and mix again. Quite a lot of mixing, good for your arms, good for your muscles. Then we're adding the potato flour or matzah meal with the baking powder. And I always like to sieve everything just to be on the safe side. It gets more air into the mixture. And then we're going to mix that again. And then we're going to add, it's actually a really easy mixture. Earlier I made some other ones using smaller little trays, and so this is all mixed to get rid of all the lumps, make sure it's really smooth, mix it quite a while, make sure it's really nice and smooth. Should be like an orangey color. And then we're going to add the spinach, which is, I've used frozen spinach that I've drained and squeezed out to make sure there's no residue of water. I'm going to just add that. And then I'm going to add the butternut squash that we made earlier, where I've just cut them up into cubes and they've been roasted and they're ready to go in. Add all those together. And then we're going to mix all that together with a spoon this time. So, and I'm going to add a little bit of cut up, 1 ounce of cut up parsley. And I'm going to save a little bit for the top, sprinkle on the top. I don't know if anyone's cooking along or not, but if you are, if I'm going too fast, just please stop me. and I will go slower. So it's all together now in a lovely mixture. And then I've used one of these loose bottom dishes that you can buy in anywhere, Sainsbury's, Tesco, or any baking shop, or even online. And I've basically cut out a piece of paper, baking paper, and I've put that on there, and then I'm going to put it together. I've also greased all the tin really, really well, because I like to be able to see the fluted edge when you've actually cooked it. So I'm now going to put this onto a baking tray in case any of the liquid does slightly leak out, to keep your oven nice and clean. And I'm going to pour this in, and should be really, and it goes in the oven for around about 20 minutes in a fan oven on preheated on 160. And then I'll just finish it off by topping it off with some pumpkin seeds. And it's always good to have one of these spatulas just to make sure you get everything in. So we've got it all in, and it should be very tasty when we've cooked it. But I made some earlier just to try them out in smaller dishes, that if you wanted to take them to work over Pesach, over Colomar, or you just wanted, I made them into these little dishes that also are loose bottom, and this is really useful actually. I made some mushroom ones with thyme, and I've made some tomato and courgette ones together, and then also the pumpkin and spinach one. And now I'm just going to sprinkle them with pumpkin seeds. I've lost my pumpkin seeds. So I will try and find my pumpkin seeds. I've lost them. I'll just get some more out of here. So sprinkle with pumpkin seeds if you've got them. I can't find where I've put them. Oh, here they are. Marvelous pumpkin seeds. Now I've roasted these earlier, and I always keep a load in a jar, pre-roasted, not with, just on a piece of parchment. I put a tiny bit of salt on, and they taste really nice, and they make it look nice. So I'm going to then sprinkle that with parsley at the end. And that will go in the oven for 20 minutes. Here we go. And then I'm going to make the salmon. Let's a timer 20 minutes. Then I'm going to make the salmon dish now, which is a rainbow salmon. And what I've done is I put the marinated salmon in the fridge. It's been in the fridge overnight. And I'm afraid the smallest one I could get was quite a few kilos. So this has been marinating overnight with garlic, lemon juice, and some cinnamon and some ginger and a bit of olive oil. So it should be really delicious. And so it looks like that. And now I'm going to get the ingredients for the rainbow bit, which I have over here. So the rainbow bit, we need, what we need for that is the turmeric, ground turmeric or fresh turmeric, and some chopped up parsley, some chopped up coriander, some already chopped up almonds, and all I'm going to do now is chop up the tomatoes. wash the tomatoes and chop them up. So I think these tomatoes are really lovely because they seem to be quite firm, but not too firm. And if you can get ones that are in season, that would be better altogether. Most of the food that I'm using is food in season, and the fish that I bought is wild salmon. I basically cut it in half, and I'm going to make it into smallish pieces to go on the top of the salmon. And I'm going to, so it's all cut up here like that, maybe even smaller. And then I'm going to cut up the other tomato. And yeah, so the salmon that I like to go to a place called Unicorn. And they do sustainable salmon. It's certainly worth buying salmon that's not, it's called Out of the Blue, the shop in Chorlton. I carve them, slice them, and then cut them into nice pieces. And the same with the other one. And then, yeah, because a lot of the salmon that you can buy now is unfortunately pumped with all sorts of horrible things that we don't really want to eat. So I believe that Out of the Blue in Chorlton is a great place to get your fish, or the market in Altrincham Market, depending on where you live. And let's just boil that. I'm just going to place all these ingredients on the top very carefully, on the top of in little strips. So tomatoes go on first, no particular reason. And then I'm going to add, so it basically comes out like a stripe. And then I'm going to add the turmeric. Then I'm going to add the coriander. Into it like a strip. And then I'm going to add, just makes it look nice and it tastes delicious, the turmeric very carefully in another row. All the way along here. So it's like a stripe. And the reason I'm doing it this way is that you get a taste of everything when you slice them at the end. And then I'm going to add a layer of the chopped up almonds very carefully along the top. And we're going to bake it in the oven. For this big piece here, we'll need probably about half an hour, but I like to do it on a lowish light for about 20 minutes. I don't like it overcooked. I like it to be quite moist and delicious. So now I'm going to finish off with the coriander at the last bit. And it should be really, I'll show you what it looks like at the end. And then the problem with this massive piece is getting it out onto the plate afterwards. So I'm just going to wash my hands again. And then we have like a stripy effect on the salmon. Can you see? And that, it should be very nice. I'm going to put that into the oven. Alexa, how long left on timer?
There are no timers set.
I'm placing that in, I placed that in the bottom, in the middle of the oven on 160 for 20 minutes to start with, and I'll see if I think that's ready. Alexa, timer 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now. By the way, I have a few tips for using timers.
That's the salmon.
Want to hear them?
Not now.
I'm just going to go on to the third dish.
Alexa, stop.
I'm going to give my hands a good wash after that. And I'll do all the clearing up later. Give your hands a good wash because you've got all sorts of
Just watching a
ices all over them. I'm just going to wipe my board off in between. And
No, she's repeating again at 7, it's all right. Recording.
And then I'm going to get my other ingredients for the superfood brownies.
What's that, Bo? No. Bo, good girl.
I can hear lots of fun stuff going on. Here is the ingredients for the superfood brownies. We'll just go through those ingredients. And I've got a slight problem with my microphone, keeps falling out. So the superfood brownies, you can use any nut. I've used cashew nuts, walnuts, and almonds, and I've used some cacao powder, and I've used baobab. Baobab is from the fruit of a baobab plant, and it's an antioxidant, very good for you, and it's a fruity taste, so it does add a lot of flavour to it, and it's a high in antioxidants and very high in protein. So it's like a really nice snacky biscuit to have over Pesach. If you can serve them throughout the year, because these ingredients you can get all year, and they're fun. It's really tasty. They're really lovely. So in fact, Fiona once gave me this recipe originally, and I've doctored it to make it my own. I'm adding apricots, which are also very good antioxidants, very good for you. And I've cut them all up already in a Magimix, but I'm just going to show you how long it takes to cut the almonds up. So I'm just going to blitz those now in the Magimix. Should take around two minutes. You see that? So whilst that's being done, I've also got the coconut oil, which I need to go into the microwave to melt, or you can melt it on top of your oven. That's now ready. You can do all your nuts all together in the Magimix. This is what I've done earlier. I've done all of the others, but I just thought I'd show you how smooth I would like them to be. Quite smooth. And then I'm going to put all the ingredients together. So we have all the nuts going in, all the cut up dates and apricots. We've got the baobab powder all going in, and we have all the nuts going in, and then the maple syrup or agave, depending on what you prefer to use. And then just going to melt because it's gone hard, it shouldn't have done, the coconut oil, 2 seconds in the microwave. One I've done earlier. So the coconut oil is like very runny, and you just pour that in. And then blitz it all together. And should all come together in a mound. Okay. So the liquid all comes together very easily, and it looks like this. Did I put the carrot in? here. Just got to add the cacao to it. Sure, I did. So we had the 1 tablespoon of cacao. So I'm just going to mix that in, having missed that out. 1 tablespoon of carrot. I'm going to mix that together again. And then, once it all comes together, it should be like a toffee, fruity, delicious mixture. And then, very nutritious and delicious. I'm only going to say that once. And then I have a tray here with a piece of baking paper that I just put on. And I'm going to put all that onto this tray. So it should come out really clean. And then you can make your topping. Might be good to give it a quick rinse. And then I like, with the back of my hand, I press it into the tin. So it's all a very nice, smooth mixture. And then you're going to make the topping once you've done that, which is some carob, some oil as well. You can use a rolling pin as well to make it really straight if you prefer, but I like to use my hand to push it in. And then I put it in the fridge for around an hour before. Well, you could put the topping on as soon as you've done it, and then you can put it and the topping on top of that. And then once that's done, you can cut them all up after about an hour and they are delicious, and you can have them anytime. I'm going to put that in the fridge, just that, for a second, while I get I'm going to now make the topping. So the topping for this, I'm just going to wipe this off again, because I haven't got too much in it. So I give that a bit of a clean and dry it with a towel. And then I'm going to add all the ingredients for this. Cacao is also really good for you. It's very high in iron. And you can use virtually any nuts. I've used walnuts, cashew nuts, and almonds. But if you don't, whichever ones you prefer, some people I know prefer some nuts to other nuts. So I'm going to then add all the ingredients for this, which is the maple syrup or agave, and the vanilla essence, and the carob, and again the coconut and the cacao. A tablespoon of cacao. Add to that. And then I'm just going to melt up the coconut butter in the microwave at the moment. I think that, Alexa, how long left on timer?
We have 2 times.
And just put the coconut oil in the microwave to melt. We do it on top of the stove, it's ever easier. Then I'm going to add that to the mixture. And I made some earlier. I made some earlier. Can you hear me? And it comes out like this. And I'll just show you anyway. So blitz it all together. and it comes out like this. I'm just going to do it from here to save time. I'm going to take out my mixture again, and with a small knife, I'm going to like butter it onto this. Hold on a second. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds, it's gone hard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the toppings for the rest of this biscuit. And I've used desiccated coconut with no sugar in, just pure coconut. I've used some sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds that I've already roasted. And I've got some apricots here and some cranberries. And once that's melted, I'm going to put the mixture on the top. Should be ready now. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to spread this. Goes hard quite quickly, so you need to get it on quite quickly. Spread it all over. And once it's all on, then you can put the topping on the top of that. And I'll show you what they look like at the end. But these, you could add anything really to these. If you don't like apricots, you could leave those out and you could add cranberries to it. Or if you like other dried fruits, you can try different things. And the other thing is, when it's not Pesach, I use hemp powder, which is another good antioxidant protein that I like. And that works really well in this too. So now I'm just going to add the I'm going to add the coconut to the top. Sprinkle it all over, and then sprinkle the nuts on the top of that. And then the cranberries too on the top of that. And I've also got apricot, but you don't have to. And they should actually stick to the top. And then the apricot. I'll just show you how that looks. So, and then once that's set and gone hard in the fridge, but maybe 10 to 15 minutes, then you can slice them into pieces, into squares, and they can keep in the fridge for up to, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks or longer. You can freeze them and serve them whenever you want a little snack. It's quite a good healthy snack to have. I'll put those in the fridge for later. I can just hear my potatoes now ready. So I shall take that out of the oven. And the salmon's coming on nicely. And this looks like it's ready. Yeah, this looks perfect. So the potato is cooked. I'm just going to test it by putting a little fork inside it to make sure it's cooked. Actually, I think it needs another 10 minutes. It depends on your cooker, but this needs a bit longer. So you put it back in for another 10 minutes. It should be just about right. Depends on your oven. Sometimes it takes longer. It just depends. Mine's a fan oven. And timer off. Alexa, timer off. Now I'm going to, while I'm waiting for the salmon to cook and the rest of the potato, I'm going to prepare one of the salads. So we've got, I don't know how we're doing for time. We've got 2 salads I'm going to prepare today. One is I'm going to prepare the avocado and blood orange and beetroot salad. These flavors are really nice together. I know blood oranges are in season here at the moment, so it's a good fruit to use, and beetroot. And I'm just going to get my plate just to make this on. 2 seconds. And so I'll get all the ingredients together first. I'm going to show you just to make sure you've got them all. So I have here, the ingredients are in this glass bowl. I have here the roasted onions that I did earlier, where we covered them, placed them on a tray, and they were cut into pieces, and basically they've gone like a caramelized look, and they're really tasty and soft and delicious. They were made with maple syrup, and I cooked them in the oven earlier. So we also have here half a lemon, half a lime, and I've got my juicer over here. And we also have the beetroot. So these beetroots that look like this originally. So basically, I like to buy them like this because they feel like they've just been pulled out of the ground. So you wash them really well, and you cover them with tin foil, roast them in the oven for, I think, a good hour, depends on your oven, and then you peel them. So that's the stage that those beetroots are at now. And I'm going to get all the ingredients together. I've got, yeah, here we have the yogurt, and I'm just going to juice the lemon. I like these juices because they catch all the pips. And then, so it's half a lemon, and go that way now, and then half a lime. And then I'm going to put all these ingredients. So I've got the lemon and the lime and the beetroot and the 4 ounces of Greek yogurt into a Vitamix. But if you have a hand blender, you could use that as well. I find the Vitamix usually works quite well. It just depends on what you have. You don't need to go out and buy a Vitamix, but anything will do fine. A hand blender, and I'm just going to show you how this works. Throw it all in. So I've got my yogurt going in, and my squeezed lime and lemon. And now I'm going to put my beetroot in. If you find it's not blitzing very well, you could add a couple of tablespoons of water just to make it into a smooth consistency, which I'll show you what it looks like when I've done this. So I'll put it on in here. So it's going to make a bit of a noise for a second. So it doesn't take long, and it goes into a beautiful, gorgeous colour. Can you see that purpley, delicious mix? Now, when it's not Pesach, I use tahini to make it into like a beetroot type, and beetroot and tahini paste, and it's also really nice. So next, I'm going to cut up the other ingredients. Just going to check on the patata, could be ready by now, hopefully. No. 1 more minute for the patata. It's got to be firm, but not too firm. So we have an avocado, which I'm now going to peel. and can you, yeah, avocado, and what I like to do is put a little bit of lemon juice on that to make sure it doesn't go brown, oxidate. So it's all peeled now. And then cut it in half. Turn it upside down, so it's like that. And then throw the avocado skins in. And then I like to slice it and then cut it lengthways. Alexa, off. It's very helpful, Alexa. Can't do without Alexa. And then into small pieces, so, and I'll put them on the board in the corner with a bit of lemon juice on the top. I use the whole avocado. You can use half an avocado depending on how many you're feeding. And I think that it would last in the fridge, in a Tupperware, in the fridge for a couple of days. Yeah, it should taste good even after a couple of days, but not longer than that. I like salads to be eaten on the day. I think it's much nicer. So we have the avocado cut up there nicely. And now we're going to do the orange. It's a blood orange. Blood oranges are really great. They're in season at the moment. You can get them anywhere. I got these in Charlton in the organic shop. And I'm just going to slice the skin all the way around. And as you can see, keep as much of the orange as possible by being very careful when you slice off the orange, that you want to get rid of the white pith. And then it should be perfectly covered like that. So, and then get rid of the orange peel, and then I'm going to slice them into that round circle like this, cut them in half, and so pretty, these oranges. Look at that, how gorgeous is that? Beautiful. It's always good to eat food that's in season. It's really much better for you if you can. And also, I love to grow my own herbs. I'm not very good at growing anything else, but herbs are very easy to grow. And in this country, you can grow most herbs all the year round. Certainly things like parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme, and I could show you all the stuff that's been growing in our garden all year. In fact, Jeremy's gone outside to show you. And even in the cold weather, it still all comes back, and the mint is starting to come up again too. So that's all ready. I've got my onions, caramelized, my oranges, my avocado with lemon juice on, sure it doesn't oxidate. And I've got I need my winter leaves, which are over here. And then I'm going to plate it all up. Just before I do that, I'm just going to go to the oven to take out the frittata because it's ready now. And I think the salmon is almost ready. Yeah, that's perfect. Firm, but not too firm, just right. I'm going to put that onto a nice tray. I think the salmon is looking pretty delicious and ready. There's nothing worse than it being overcooked. And I think this looks really good. And I'll just show you how it looks. For the salmon, it should be really nice. It's like a really pretty rainbow. I'm going to try and put it onto a big white plate. And earlier, I went for a little walk and foraged some wild garlic leaves, which I'll show you later. I'm going to probably dress the plate with that. I'm just going to turn off the oven and have a little drink. It's not whiskey, it's only water. Oh, that's better. And now I'm going to get the plate and show you how I plate this up. So this is winter leaves that are in season at the moment, lamb's lettuce and like purple type of pretty leaves. These have been washed earlier in my where is it? Oh yeah, it's been washed earlier and drained in, and I use a spinning machine to get all the water off. So I'm just going to pile this around the outside. Actually, I'm just going to do half of it, and then I'm going to add, just going to find my spoon for the spatula. Here's the spatula. And so with the spatula, I'm going to add the mixture of the purple mixture onto your plate. It's exactly right, it's exactly how I want it to be. Such a great colour there. I think it's really nice to mix gorgeous colours together that are in season. And then now I'm going to add the rest of the lettuce leaves. You can use any lettuce leaves, or you can use, I like to use the colourful ones because they look lovely. But if you can't get anything else, then you could use rocket. And then so we're up to that stage now where it's starting to look quite nice. And I'm going to add the onions, red onion, caramelized onions, slowly around the outside, on top of the leaves, but not right to the edge. And carefully place these on all the way around. These are harder than I thought to get exactly right. But to get them exactly right, you need to put them on a lowish oven, not too high, for about 35 minutes. And cover it with maple syrup, a tablespoon of maple syrup for 1 onion, and a little bit of salt. And there we go, we've got that all on now. And now I'm going to put the avocado, sprinkle the avocado onto there. And then add the oranges carefully around. And we'll finish off with, just place them on the top so they look really pretty. And then that should serve about 6 people, depending on how hungry you all are. But it's really nice with the salmon, or you could serve it with whatever you're having, really. I'm going to sprinkle that with some chopped up parsley that I did earlier. And I think I forgot to put in my recipe, hold on 2 seconds, I think my earphones fallen out. I'm going to, yeah, I think it's quite nice to add these flaked almonds that I roasted earlier. You don't have to do that, it just gives it an extra bite, and I think it's really nice. And you roast them in the oven for, I always roast quite a few of these things earlier and keep them in the fridge, or in a tin or a jar that you've kept for them. And there we have, hopefully, a really nice, tasty salad, quite nutritious and delicious. I'll place that on the table, show me. And then we're finishing off with wait a minute, I'm going to put out the flan, the frittata, I'm going to try and take that out in one go. Should be just about ready. Oh, isn't it? I'll do it over there. Okay, don't think you can see me. So, bear with. I'm going to just make sure that the edges of this frittata are all definitely, yeah. 2 seconds. And yeah, it's gonna, this is, once it's cooled down, wait till it's cooled down really. And then we should take it out. It should come out really easily. And it should have a really nice fluted edge. And there we have it. And you can use this, you can freeze these and you can use any different ingredients that you like to make with these. And I'm going to place that on the table. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy, for helping me. And now I'm going to finish off with the final salad. I want to thank everybody for sponsoring this wonderful organisation, the FAD. It does so much good for so many different people. And then I'm going to, yeah, and I'm really proud to be being involved in raising money for it. I'm just going to get the salmon. I'm going to try and place that onto the plate. Wait a minute, I just need to wipe this board first and dry it. Otherwise, we'll have a right mess on the bottom of the plate. Thank you. So a big white plate is always quite nice. I'm not sure if this is going to come off that easily, but we'll have a go. I'm going to do it over here then. I'm afraid I can't do this in front of you, unless you bring the camera around here. Right. So yeah, and earlier I borrowed some I'm going to place this very carefully onto here. And really I need to slide out the paper from underneath. Very gently, easy to roll out. Staying with the tin foil might not be so easy. And then what I'd like to do is to dress it all with the wild garlic leaves. So I think it would look really nice. So the tin foil will come off. And then I'm going to just wipe it. We can keep it nice and simple. I'm just going to add the wild garlic leaves to it now. We'll bring it around here. So we're going to put the wild garlic leaves around the outside, which is going to get from here. So the wild garlic grows this time of year right the way through for the next few months. And I've washed it really carefully. My son, who's a farmer, took me on a foraging course to show me how to do this. Thank you, Sam. And honestly, it smells amazing. You can use it to make pesto. You can use it in anything. And I think it looks really nice around the outside of the dish. I'm just going to put these around the outside of the dish. And same on the other side. And I also, you can get primroses this time, edible primroses. And this time of year, and I've managed to forage a few. And they look quite pretty on your food, and they're obviously edible. And make sure you wash them really well. And it should look really nice, hopefully. Let's do a few more. A bit slow at this, I've done this before. But I use a lot of wild garlic to make all sorts of things, and you can freeze it, and it's fantastic. It's really got great health benefit. But this is the primroses, and they're tiny, tiny little delicate flowers, and they're edible. So I'm just going to place those around the outside. Obviously, you really don't need to do them, but it's nice to use edible flowers. Later in the spring, summertime, you can use nasturtiums, and it really does dress up a nice. There we go. I'll show you what it looks like at the end. They look like that. They're really pretty. And there we go. So we have our salmon, rainbow salmon, that I'm going to place over here. So we've got our rainbow salmon. Jeremy's being an amazing cameraman. I'm just going to do the final salad, and then we can have a look at everything I've done. The final salad of today is a watercress salad with rhubarb. Rhubarb's also in season at the moment, and I actually think it's a gorgeous, crunchy, beautiful colour, rhubarb, and very tasty, with chicory also in season at the moment. So I'll just show you my ingredients. So we have chicory, which I washed earlier. We have rainbow carrots. You can use any of the colours. I'm going to use a purple one today. And rhubarb. I'm going to show you how I do the rhubarb. And I've got the feta cheese already cut up, sunflower seeds for the top. You can add radishes. It depends what's in season. I saw some lovely radishes the other day, and I washed these and cut those up. And they give it an extra dimension and crunchiness and taste. So I've also got all the other components, which I'll do at the end. So I'm going to cut up the chicory, and I don't know whether you can see this properly, and to kind of thinnish slices like that. And I love chicory. It's such a gorgeous taste. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I think I've said this. It reminds me of holiday time, which you're not getting much of these days. So, and then I take my radishes, and I like to buy the radishes that are already, you know, look like they've just come out of the ground. Wash them really well. I've done that earlier, and then I take the tops off. I'm going to slice them that way. So I'm going to put those on top of those, and I'll show you how I'll arrange it. And then I'm going to put some sumac on top of the cut up feta cheese. That's the feta cheese and some really lovely sumac. I tend to buy the sumac in Israel. It's always much nicer. If you can't get it there, you can get it online or in any shop. So then I'm going to cut up the rhubarb and show you how I do the rhubarb. So I started to do it earlier, just to show you. So you cut up the rhubarb into pieces around this type of size. You can see that. I just finish this off, and then I cover them with a bit of honey or maple syrup, and this only takes a few seconds, a few minutes at the most, on top of the oven on a very low light, because it seems to cook really quickly, rhubarb. So you have to stay with it and watch it, because it can burn. So that's, and then I'm going to get my honey or maple syrup. I'm just going to use only a teaspoon. I think that's what it says in the recipe. It says the tape. I've used it's a tablespoon in total. And then I'm going to mix it on top of the oven just for a few seconds. I cover it over first, mix it all together. Add a titchy bit of salt. I like to use Himalayan salt, pink Himalayan salt. And then I'm going to put it on a very low light on top of the oven and stir until it goes quite soft. And it goes soft very quickly, really. It's amazing how it only takes a few minutes. Keep stirring. And you want to keep that beautiful, strong pink colour. If you overcook it, then you lose that gorgeous colour. And the sweetness and the sour of the rhubarb together, it tastes so good. So we're almost there. Then I'm going to place all this on a plate and put it all together. This also keeps, I put everything in a Tupperware once it's left over, and I usually like to eat it within a day. The only salad I ever make that seems to last longer is with red cabbage. That seems to last longer. And that's it, because it's already about the right. You want to have a little tiny bit of crunch left on in the rhubarb, otherwise it's not as nice. So set that to one side, and now we're going to take the plate. I've used a plain white plate, and I'm going to so the watercress has been washed earlier, and I'm going to place the watercress all around very carefully. It's a very delicious flavour, watercress. And then once you've done that, then we're going to add the radishes all the way around. Once you've cut like that. And then I'm going to add the chicory. I've got to make the dressing. I always put the dressing on right at the very end, just before you serve it. There's nothing worse than when you've already dressed the salad and it's gone all horrible and limp. So then I'm going to throw over the chicory carefully. And then I'm going to put it looks like this at the moment. And now I'm going to peel the heritage carrots. They're so good for colour and flavour. I always forget those in Unicorn, but I think you can get them anywhere now. You can get them in Sainsbury's, Tesco, Booths, Aldi, Asda. Great advert. So here we go. And I'm going to basically make this into like a strip. And so it looks like that once you've taken the strip off. And then I'm going to put these around like this, around the outside. Once I've done all the strips. You can use all different ones, all different colours. If you haven't got heritage carrots, you just use ordinary carrots. I just think they look so nice. And then place these all the way around. I've got to hurry up, my husband's saying. The football's on. So I think we're coming, just got to finish off with the dressing. I'm now going to place the rhubarb. Wait till it's gone cool. It needs a few more minutes. So whilst I'm waiting for the rhubarb to cool, I'm going to, I use all the carrots, no matter how many strips. So I'm going to make the dressing for this. So we need for the dressing, already juiced lemon, 1 lemon, and then I'm going to use pomegranate molasses, which you can buy it. It's organic and it's got no sugar in at all. It's much better to use one with no sugar, or if you can get one with no sugar. I use 2 tablespoons. And then where's the olive oil? So we've got the lemon juice, the pomegranate molasses. We've got 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to add a bit of salt, around a good teaspoon of salt, and use a fork to mix it together. But don't place this on your salad until just before you serve it. So these should be really ready now. They are. I'm going to place the rhubarb on the top of that. Make sure it's gone cold. It has. And then I put the cheese on the top of that. So I've got small cubes of cheese that I've covered with sumac. I'm placing those on the top of the salad. Till it's looking nice. You don't obviously have to add the cheese. You can add different cheese if you don't like feta cheese. And then I'm just going to sprinkle it with some fresh mint, which I got from the garden earlier. Where's my fresh mint? A little bit of fresh mint and parsley. I'm just going to cut it up a bit more. Can you see from here? Yeah. I'm just going to cut a little bit more of the mint up with the parsley. I use a sharp knife and like that. Cut it all up. And then I'm going to throw that, sprinkle that on the top of that. Gives it an extra taste. And then to finish it off, we've got the rind of the lemon. Sprinkle that on the top. Very tasty. It looks really lovely as well and very colourful. And I finish it off with some pomegranate seeds, which you don't have to do, but it just looks really nice and it gives it extra crunchiness. And the roasted sunflower seeds, and then we're done. The dressing I'm going to pour into. There's my dressing. I can't find that. Into a little jug that my daughter made for me. Natasha is a great potter. If you want to order any plates or pots, delicious. So that's perfect to serve with this. I'm going to put that on the table. And I think we've done everything now. Got the salmon, wild garlic salmon. We've got the potato. We've got the salad over here and the biscuits I made earlier. And this is a really important ingredient because Jeremy made this earlier. This is called shrug, and it's made with chili and coriander. And when we had some Israeli soldiers come and stay, Jeremy learned how to make this, and he loves it because it's so spicy and it gives a huge extra taste. And it lasts in the fridge for up to a week. But it's really good if you like things that are spicy. And that's it. Would anyone like to ask any questions? First of all, I want to say thank you very, very much to Natasha, who from the Fed, who's helped me to organise all this. And I also want to thank everybody that sponsored this this today. I really appreciate it, and I've really enjoyed getting all the dishes together. Hopefully, I'll have a book out in about another 6 months. It'll just be salad, and it's been a pleasure to work with the help with the Fed and get involved over the last few months. And thank you very much. Any questions, please go through Natasha, who's our lovely host tonight. Thank you all for your donations.
Can I just say thank you, Sharon, so much. This was amazing. I've never been to a cooking demonstration before, and I couldn't wait. I've spent so long working with you and couldn't wait for today, and it's been brilliant. So thank you so much for raising so much money for the Fed. It's brilliant.
An absolute pleasure, really. I encourage anyone to have a go. I wish you could all come round and taste it now.
That's what I said before. I wanted to come round for dinner. It's a shame we all can't.
So do we.
I think I got my mum in the other room. He's in my bubble. He's going to help me eat it. And Jeremy. And I want to thank Jeremy for being the cameraman. I think he did a good job. I hope so. I don't know.
He did a brilliant job. Thank you.
Really,
Jeremy.
really good, Sharon. Fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank
you, Sharon. Can we
Sharon,
see
it was
that?
lovely. This is June,
Thank you,
and it
June.
was really lovely. You did a fabulous job. Very professional.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I
Lovely
really
recipe.
enjoyed it.
Lovely recipes.
I'll send the methods tomorrow.
Sorry?
Fantastic,
Well done, Sharon. Really brilliant.
Well done. Can we see the full result? Can we see
Yes,
the table?
absolutely. I
You
will
just
show you
can't
the
see
table.
it.
Jeremy, how do we show the table? Can everyone see?
Beautiful.
Shame we can't virtually eat it too.
I wish you... So, hi, Lucille. It's so lovely to have all the Israeli contingent.
Yeah, wonderful to see.
Really.